My name is Robin Sims. I'm the Vice President of the Association at Hunterdon Developmental Center and the President of VOR, which is a national organization for choice. What we have to tell you today is a story which we'll try to tell quickly. These are parents in the room and guests and others. We thank you. We have parents here from Hunterdon Developmental Center, Greenbrook Developmental Center, and Woodbridge Developmental Center. We unfortunately weren't able to capture everybody for today, but it is a busy day. What happened to us about 10 years ago was everything in our lives changed. Most of us, all of us here, have relatives that live in an ICFMR. The ICFMR is a facility that provides an active treatment plan. It is not the kind of programming that's offered to people in group homes. It's for people with severe and profound developmental disabilities, medical fragility, and behavioral supports. This is a 24-hour-a-day, 365-day-a-year active treatment plan. And the services that are provided in the community are known as community waiver. And what they're waiving is the ICFMR services. Now, up until 2001, our reports every year, our annual progress reports and habilitation reports, laid out very clearly what our children's plan was going to be and what goals we set for them for the year. In 2001, the Division of Developmental Disabilities decided that everybody's document would read, John Doe is eligible to live in the community, that went above the title. And that is where the myth of the 2400 was born. Because everybody's document said this, and you could only not have that in your document if you are a criminal with a criminal record, or if you are so verbal that you could say, I do not want to leave. And that made it 2,457 people seemingly wanting to live in the community. And so the parents in this room and other parents that have come before us and work with us set about to try to dispel the myth. And we've tried in several different ways. We tried with a petition that went from family members at Hunterdon Developmental Center. 2,300 people said we are opposed to community placement. Family members, relatives, people who heard about our situation. Was delivered twice to the governor. We never had hearings. Then we had hearings to see what we really wanted. At first, none of the hearings were going to take place in a developmental center. We fought to get 2 of them in developmental centers, and there are texts available of these hearings where family member after family member after family member said, I am not interested in having my loved one live in the community. That information was totally ignored. It is a matter of public record, and we do have the transcripts for anybody wanting to see them. But that information was ignored as well. And what was born out of that was the path to progress. The path to progress went back to the original 2400. And we kept saying, we can't live with this. This is not true. We want our documents to be truthful. We want parents and guardians to be able to say what they wanted for their children. It was really systematically ignored year after year after year. And then what happened is the documents changed, and the documents became person-centered. In other words, people who could not speak for themselves, who had no clue as to the participation in that document, documents were now being written in the first person. I would like to live in the community. I would like to live in a house with a dog. I would like to not live in a home where people are smoking, et cetera, et cetera. Things that are totally false. And the district, the discussion with the director of the division set out, he has now agreed that if it says in the document, my name is Heather Sims, my parents' name, my mother's name is Robin, that can stay in the document. But when we get into the body of the document, it has to go back to the third person. Except there is no circular, there is no edict, and the documents stay there the way they've been. So my daughter wouldn't say my mother's name is Robin. My daughter would say my mother's name is Mommy, if she could talk, and she doesn't. So the document is a fiction. The numbers are a fiction. And what's happening is our loved ones are being moved out of the developmental centers. Mostly, as we discovered, it's happening when the person is under Bureau of Guardianship Services. Because in this document of our survey, we have a memo from the state to the Bureau of Guardianship Services guardians insisting that they make the person eligible to live in the community, that they do not object. So we have a system that employs state workers to be guardians, and then the state tells the Bureau what they want them to say. So we really have a big conflict, and we need to look at the amount of dollars and the amount of power that the Bureau of Guardianship Services has. There are still a lot of people whose children are under Bureau of Guardianship Services who have parents, who have family members, who are still participating, but they gave up guardianship because they were afraid. What if I die? What if, I'm not there to care for my child? What if something needs to be done and I'm out of the state? And so they gave up guardianship, but they didn't give up parenthood. And parenthood is still a very important piece of this. So when Assemblyman Greenwald came out with his bill talking about closure, and I understand that people really want to feel that they are doing the right thing, that there's 2,400 little faces with their face against the glass going, we want to be free, we want to leave. It isn't true. And to come to our centers and to see the care that our loved ones get, you get an understanding. The governor came a few months back to Hunterdon, and he said, we can't service this community, this population in the community. It's not doable. It doesn't save money. It doesn't save lives. Our population is living much longer, and there's a population out in the community that's lived in group homes and then gone to workshops, and there they are 30 years later. They want to retire. Where do they go? The group homes are not set up for them. A nursing home is not appropriate for a 50-year-old who's been working at a workshop, but we are set up for that. We are a community. We can handle extreme special needs, and we can't lose the infrastructure of the 7 centers that we have. So we went through and we finally decided to take it into our own hands and send out a very, very simple survey.